What is up, everybody? SimplyJeff is back, and today I'm bringing you a Cardfight online battle. I'm super excited to finally bring you this. I got the second wave of beta key. I was in the second wave of beta keys, and I was just super happy to find out. We've all been playing it up at the school I go to, so we've all been having a lot of fun with it. We've all just been using my account. This was a battle that I did myself, though, and let me just take the time now, before this video continues any further, that I'm required by Bushiroad to say that this game is in beta, and this is not representative of what the final product will be. It could look completely different. For all we know, this is just the beta that we have. So, with all that being said, I just witnessed my mulligan. I'm going second. So, they're going to go first. I really like Cardfight Online. I find it to be a really great program. I mean, it's leagues better than Cardfight Arena, but Area, sorry. But I don't know. I feel like it goes really slow with all of these animations. Like, the animations make it look pretty, but they also just take a while. So I'm gonna ride the 8K here, using my Forerunner ability. Never realized that that was a May until I started playing Cardfight Online, actually. I just never read the text close enough to really care. I mean, who's not going to pull their Forerunner back? It's always a good idea to pull Forerunner back. That's why it has Forerunner on it. Um, so, they're going to shield, shielding that early damage. Can't really say I blame them, it's Aqua Force. Um, so, Aqua Force versus Gear Chronicles, I was actually kind of nervous for this matchup. Um, But I started doing the screen cap thing before I got put into a match. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll try it. And I was actually kind of nervous for a Gear Chronicles matchup just because I figured they were going to rewind all my rear guards and then I wouldn't have anything to do. But we'll get to that as the battle progresses. I'm going to shield this early damage here while I can. Figured why not. Um, this deck isn't too counterblast heavy. The only thing that really uses counterblast is the Magnum Assault. And I forget her name off the top of my head. It's the promo who switches places with a unit in her column. They're the only two things that really hardcore use counterblast, so I didn't really care about, you know, shielding that early damage. I didn't need it at that point. So I'm just skimming over my hand real quick. I decided it might be a good idea to get some early rush in. I mean, that's what Aqua Force does, right? So, um, and at least for right now, they wouldn't be able to get a GB3 because I'm going first. So, or grade 3 GB1 is what I meant to say there. They wouldn't be able to get to that before me because I'm going second. So I figured it was safe enough to send Magnum Assault out without worrying about him getting rewinded. Swing with the Vanguard here. It's really difficult to do live commentary over these videos because it just takes a while. So I say everything I need to say about the play happening while the play is happening, and then it just sits there for a while. But so they take that one and they lose their perfect guard. I'm like, awesome. That's one less I have to worry about. So got a pretty decent setup for next turn. I got my Thavas, I got my Stride Fodder, which will be my grade 3. The deck I'm using right now is two trial decks meshed together, with the more offensive parts of the trial decks instead of the more defensive parts of the trial decks. I just wanted to go full aggro with this Aqua Force build. Also, like I said before, I put 3 of that promo in that you have to craft separately. So they're going to swing with a 10k grade 3, and I'm just going to shield that because I can. I'm not too concerned about Counterblast at this point still, especially since their Vanguard's going to be swinging. That was me forgetting that I have to end my guard step. A lot of people forget to end the guard step, myself included, just because you don't think to end the guard step. It's not something you ever really announce in person, so it's kind of weird. So I see them get that Amber in one of their trigger checks, and then they get a draw trigger there, so I'm like, whatever. Go ahead, get that extra card, doesn't really faze me. But that Amber is what has me nervous. Because Amber's pretty good. I like Amber. And being able to rewind some of my stuff would be a real pain in the toots. So I stand, and I get my draw in, which is nice. I got my 10k booster there, which is always nice. I was really happy that it was Aqua Force versus them because I have the option to stall at grade 2. They really don't. I mean, this hand I didn't have the option to stall at grade 2. But overall, I had the option to stall at grade 2 with Aqua Force, and Gear Chronicle doesn't. So that's a really nice thing. I knew I was gonna get first stride with that. So then, this is just kind of a dud turn almost. I'm just trying to flood the field, swing in, and mainly just striding for hand advantage. The first stride's always a little slow. But I will be able to get to 4 attacks this turn. Spoiler alert, I guess it's going to happen in a couple minutes. But I will be able to get to 4 attacks this turn, which is really nice, because I'll be able to force a retire of one of their 2 units. I believe they have their starter and a 10k grade 3. I forget the name of that grade 3 off the top of my head, but I remember it because I actually had Gear Chronicle for a while. Absolutely hated playing it. I have respect for the clan and respect for the people that play it, but it just wasn't me. It wasn't my style. But, so I believe they take this one? Nope, they blocked that one. Okay. They shielded that attack. Which worked out pretty well. So I'm going to swing with Magnum Assault for a second time. Being at a perfect number, they have to shield with the 5k, which is nice, but they end up shielding with the 10k. Or matching them, I mean, for attack. So I decided to go ahead and swing with my Vanguard for third, because the ability will still go off for the stride unit, and it'll just work out well for getting triggers. So I can restand Magnum Assault, and I can give +5 to my grade 3 there, so that way both of those can now hit the Vanguard, which is really nice. It gives it some really heavy pressure, some big oomph. And I like me some big oomph. So get a draw trigger too, which I'm really excited about, since his the strides on hit allows you to draw anyway. So I'm really happy about that. I get a lot of draws for my turn. Sets me up pretty nicely with some shielding. As you guys can see, I have a few triggers in hand. So they get a heal trigger, which they can use, I believe. Yeah, because we're both tied for 1 damage at the moment. So they can go ahead and use it. Another thing I don't like is over the trigger zone, and I have reported this bug. Over the trigger zone, it just sort of freezes for a while. And one time I was using an ability of that promo grade 2 for Aqua Force. I feel really bad that I don't know the names, but I don't play Aqua Force regularly. I only know how useful Aqua Force is because I have a bunch of friends that play it, which is part of the reasons I don't play it, because I don't like playing clans that a lot of people play. But I know the names of some of the cards, like Thavas, Magnum Assault, obviously. But most of the cards, I just know them by what they do. So I apologize for that, for me not naming any cards. But anyways, like I was saying before, the promo one that lets you flip in the column, I was using her ability, and it just got stuck over trigger zone until I ended the phase, so I lost out of all my attacks, and I was really pissed off. And I rage quitted the game, I'll be honest. But, because it was a bug, and I didn't see the point of continuing when I was in a really bad state because of a bug. So I just ended it and reported the bug as soon as possible. Hopefully Bushy saw that. From what I understand, they have been good at listening to people's complaints and working with it, so I'm pretty happy about that. Bushiroad is actually a fairly nice company overall, I've noticed. But I'm not promoted by them or anything, it's just, I mean, they're not EA. So, I forget why I didn't use my booster there. I had a reason at the time, but I genuinely forget why. But I wanted to get their rear guard. Just, so that's why I'm attacking their rear guard. I didn't want them to be able to swing hard at me. I wanted to, so I was kind of playing a little defensively, which also made the game extremely slow. This match, as you guys can see the time down there, is about 26 minutes, which is just ridiculous. I believe they are using one single trial deck from for Gear Chronicle, which is what it is, I guess. But they rewind my Magnum Assault, which makes me super sad because I really like Magnum Assault. But it is what it is. I have the cycling stand trigger in my hand. Again, I forget the name, but so I have that in my hand, so I'll still be able to get to 4 attacks, and I'll pop off their rear guard. So they get a stand trigger, who does them a lot of good with their 1 columns. They can stand that 8k booster, better watch out. But and they get a draw trigger, which kind of sucks. I'm kind of getting annoyed about how much draws they're getting. Just because they're maintaining hand, and I just want to smack them with Aqua Force, just keep punching them as hard as I can. And so both of us are able to guard for a really long time, and just draws out games. This game really did feel like it was dragging on, especially because when I was playing it, I was kind of in a rush. I expected the game to go relatively quick, and so I was playing this game to record, and I had a meeting to go to. I looked down at my phone when I would finish this game, and I had 1 minute left to get to my meeting. I'm like, great. So, luckily, I was playing like right next to where my meeting was, so I could just quickly throw my laptop in my bag and book it. But still, kind of sucked. It was kind of stressful. So I just sacrificed all my boosters there to Stride. I want to build hand advantage, and I want to put pressure on them. Technically, I didn't really have to Stride, because all the abilities except Thavas would go off. But I had the ability to. I didn't super need those boosters, so I was like, let's just try it out. Calling a stand trigger in front of a draw trigger, only in Aqua Force. So we're just gonna go ahead with the turn here. While this turn's going on, you guys can see what's happening. Let me just take a moment to say that I am working on getting streaming software. I'm doing a lot of research on that. Leave any suggestions for streaming software in the comments down below if you have any suggestions, and I'd love to see them. Preferably free, because I'm in college and I'm broke. But because I spend too much money on Cardfight IRL, so I don't have any money for Cardfight Online, which kind of sucks. But I really do want to do streaming, but I have been doing my research with streaming programs, so I think I found one that I like. But yeah, leave suggestions for that down below, because I would love to set up streaming. My only issue with it is I don't have a really, I have a very strange schedule, which means I would be streaming at really weird times, and I wouldn't be able to dedicate one time every week to it, at least not right yet. Come beginning mid-April, I should be able to, but that's still, a month and a half away. So if you guys wouldn't mind me streaming at weird times and then just uploading the videos to YouTube whenever I do, then yeah, I would love to do streaming. So let me know what you guys feel about that in the comment section down below too. So this is attack 3 of my turn, so all my abilities get to go off, and he perfect guards. I'm like, awesome. Never saw him drive check that perfect guard, so I'm guessing that was during one of his draws, from his draw triggers. But it's whatever, is what it is. And for some reason, he called a second unit to Guardian Circle, which makes me think he kind of screwed up with that. But I get my stand trigger back, so I'm like, yay, happy. I could assign 5,000 power to the draw trigger, but I didn't feel like being funny. I felt like actually playing. Although I do believe I retire his rear guard with the draw trigger. Yeah, I do force a retire from his for his booster with my draw trigger, which is just silly. I really wanted that to happen. So yeah, he called before 2 units to Guardian Circle, even though he perfect guarded, which makes me think he didn't realize how the software worked or how the game worked, which is fine. The guard step, I would say, is probably the most confusing step of it, but it is really nice that they add up all the powers for you, they add up all the crits for you, and I think that's pretty cool. Especially when I eventually get to play Great Nature on this, because Great Nature is my main. It would be Neonectar, but Musketeers haven't gotten support in Yonks, and I don't wanna risk it because I just can't you can't really pull through with Musketeers anymore. They don't have their competitive edge. So Great Nature, I switched to my main. Chat Noir Big Belly right now. I'm testing out a couple different builds with it. But definitely Chat Noir Big Belly. Throwing in a Leopold Reverse too in that because it's just fun. But so they go ahead and try it again, and they rewind my grade 3, which makes me sad because that was my main hitting engine right there. Because the draw trigger is a draw trigger. And they do have Amber out, but they don't have any free counterblast, so I'm like, yes, saves me another unit, because I know my starter was going next, and I really wanted my starter to stay until I could fully use it. So I was pretty happy that they ran out of counterblasts. That's what happens when you shield a lot with Gear Chronicle, because Gear Chronicle is one of the most counterblast heavy decks, especially the one that just popped right out of the trial deck. Very counterblast heavy, so you really have to manage your damage wisely with Gear Chronicle. So they go ahead and swing with the Vanguard. I'm at 2 damage. They could technically kill me if they get 3 crits, but the odds of that are slim, so I'm just like, yeah, no guard. And it paid off. So I'm still in this game. And they get 1 crit, and I'm like, oh no, don't tell me they get 2, because I don't want to be rushed to 5 while they're at 2. That would not be fun for me. That'd be funny, but that would not be fun. So right now they have 15k shielding in hand, and then they get a grade 3. I'm like, yes, 15k shielding in hand, that's it. I'm really psyched about that. And I get a so useful stand trigger, which you mean whatever. I forget that you have to assign the trigger bonus before the power with stand triggers, which I think is kind of strange. I don't think it made me do that for crits, if I remember correctly. And then he gets a free shuffle on Mystery Flare Dragon, which, I mean, whatever. He doesn't have 4 counterblast. Throughout this whole game, he never had 4 counterblast. But he was close to getting it there, so that's kind of terrifying. But an extra turn on his part would really suck for me. I think I could live through it, but I don't think I'd have a play after that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stride again just to try to keep building up hand advantage and keep putting pressure out there. I know I could have used Thavas GB2, who has a great GB2, but the hand advantage was more important to me at the time. Just wanted to keep pushing, and with those big numbers, I knew for a fact he wouldn't be able to shield it, which is pretty nice. If he threw down all of his shielding, that would only put him at 26, so my Vanguard alone would tie. So that is what it is. Call out the grade 2, 10k grade 2. 10k vanillas actually works sort of well in Aqua, so I was really excited to see. See that. I didn't realize how well they worked. I still wouldn't do it for a competitive build, but for just a haha kind of build, there's definitely worse grade 2s you could throw in there. So I'm gonna give the starter bonus to my grade 2 there, my 10k grade 2. Just so that way I can swing at the rear guard, restand, and then hit the Vanguard. No, I do believe I have to swing at the Vanguard with both of those. So yeah, just swing at the Vanguard twice then. Never mind, forget that first part. I don't typically play Aqua Force. I'm not a huge fan of playing Aqua Force, but I wanted to play a more aggressive deck. I wanted to try it without spending the money, and Cardfight Online helped with that, so that's cool. I will definitely get to 4 attacks this turn, so I'm gonna try to get rid of Amber, but I don't do that off for tires, which is whatever. It is what it is. I do believe I get rid of Amber, though, if I remember correctly, but I guess we'll find out. So this was sort of like almost a final push kind of turn. Not quite final push, but I was like, all right, I'm at 4 damage. I need some thwack. So luckily I get that thwack, and so go ahead and swing. Their lack of shielding is what really helped. Their early shielding allowed me to really hit them hard late game, so I was pretty happy about that. Slowed out the game, but allowed me to quickly recover once I got there. So I got my Magnum Assault back, which is awesome. I love Magnum Assault. He's one of my favorite Amber clones. Although Cram Tiger takes the place as my favorite, just because Great Nature really didn't need to stand, and they got to stand anyway, and I was like, that's really overpowered. So I call out my 12k grade 2 over the draw trigger, finally get to replace the draw trigger, but it's put in good work. It's done. It's done good. So I'm real happy that that draw trigger was there. So I force him to retire either Amber or the 10k swing. He's obviously going to retire the 10k swing because why would he retire Amber when that's such a good card for the deck? So I go ahead and swing at his Vanguard some more. And after this attack, I still have 2 more attacks, and he hasn't done any shielding yet, which, you know, I really like. So I've just been able to just get in these nice little, sneak in these little things of damage. But he gets a crit trigger, which him getting a trigger kind of sucks. It could have been worse, could have been a draw trigger. But him getting a crit trigger allows his Vanguard to shield a lot easier against me, which is unfortunate. I don't like that. So he goes ahead and drops a 10k to shield, and then I'm going to restand my 10k grade 2, and I'm going to go ahead and swing at Amber. It's the only thing I can hit, but it's what I was planning on hitting anyway. So, I mean, I guess it worked out for the best. I believe he drops... Does he drop a trigger here? I honestly can't remember. Yes, he does. He does drop... Or he drops the grade 1 that he got. That's right. It was a grade 1. I remember it was 5k, but for some reason I was thinking draw trigger. Doing audio over these matches after the fact is really tough. Just because it's been a few days since I actually had this game, or played this round. So it makes it kind of aggravating to try to figure it out what was happening at the time. But it is what it is. That's why I plan on getting streaming software, so that way I can just do everything all at once in live action, and then just upload it to YouTube whenever I get around to it, and it'll work out a lot better in the long run. I decided to shield for my 10k interceptor, just in case. Wanted to force another attack towards it. And I knew Amber was going to rewind one of my units, so I didn't want to lose both of them. I believe Amber rewinds the 10k if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong here. Let's see. That's just me reading Chrono Dragon. I couldn't remember what the guard restriction was on it, but I was allowed to perfect guard, which makes me happy. So we'll get to that in a bit, though. And I'm at 5 damage, so I'm sweating a little bit, getting a little nervous. But I do have my perfect guard in hand, and I have a ton of shielding in hand. So, or not a ton, but enough shielding in hand. Oh, that's right. I couldn't use perfect guards. That's what it was. I couldn't use grade 1s or higher. So I was getting a little nervous. If he got the 2 triggers, it would really suck. And he gets 1 trigger. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, don't let that be the end of me. I've recorded this video for so long just to lose, and I'm like, I'm not thrilled about that. But luckily he gets another Chrono Jet, and that sort of seals the deal. That sort of seals his fate there, which, you know, I'm totally fine with. So, not even gonna bother striding. There's no point. I have 1 more stride unit, but it's really not worth it. So I go ahead and I call Magnum Assault, and I just hand vomit, throw out everything other than my perfect guard there. Just because I'm going all out. I want to make sure that even if he does get a trigger, he is done. Because right now he's at 4 damage. He doesn't have enough shielding to guard all of the attacks that are coming his way, but he is only at 4 damage, so there is a chance that he could heal out of it. Or boost himself with a trigger, and then I'd lose my momentum, and then probably lose the game. So he takes that damage, because he sort of doesn't really have too much of a choice. So he damage checks a grade 2. I was like, yes! I was like, that just made this go so much easier that it wasn't a trigger. especially like a draw trigger would have been really bad right there. But luckily it wasn't. So Magnum Assault restands, gets +2, and I go ahead and swing with Magnum Assault again, just trying as much as I can to weed out any shielding he can. So he intercepts the Amber, realizing that this is the final turn. He's got to intercept it, got to shield with everything he has, and even then, gotta get lucky. I misread Thavas here. Um, Again, I don't play Aqua Force regularly, so so that explains the misplay. But I thought it was fourth battle or more. He got the crit and guard restrict, but it's or I thought it was third battle, but it was fourth battle. So it's whatever. I was kind of upset, but he didn't have the shielding to deal with that attack anyway. So if he got a heal trigger back here, it would have been pretty bad because he would have been able to shield and then just um, and then I had like no shielding left in hand, so he would have gotten me probably. But he damage checks Amber, and that is it. So I won the game, and I was really happy about that. This game went on for a very long time. Um, but I hope you all enjoyed the video. Again, sorry for not knowing the names of like any Aqua Force cards. I forget their names off the top of my head. But leave suggestions down in the comments below. This is SimplyJeff, signing off.